The COVID-19 pandemic sucks. It is getting people sick and some are even dying. Not only that, our freedoms are being challenged. There are places where you can't buy or sell if you aren't wearing a mask, and that may be the case with vaccines in the near future. There already are employers who won't hire you if you aren't vaccinated. A judge stripped custody away from a mother because she wasn't vaccinated. There are hospitals that will not treat you if you aren't vaccinated. And we're going to start reading Bible verses about the mark of the beast and discussing it in detail soon. But I want to say a few things about COVID first. I am vaccinated against COVID, so don't think I'm not taking it seriously. But the truth is that governments as a whole aren't handling it well. And it's because they care more about pleasing Big Pharma and getting their money than they do about trying to end the pandemic. Do you know where the variants are coming from? It's poor countries without enough vaccines, and therefore they're having really low percentages of their populations being vaccinated. And instead of helping these countries make sure that everyone has a chance to get fully vaccinated, right now we're discussing getting booster shots for countries that already are vaccinated. In the long term, the booster shots will mean little if we fail to get most people in each country to get the shot. And if we fail to do that, COVID will keep producing the variants, and I expect it won't ever go away. And truthfully, even then, it may not go away. But I'm a big supporter of freedom myself, and I only wear a mask if it's required. But because I think you're more interested in the mark of the beast, we're going to read Revelation chapter 13, verses 11 through 15. Then I saw another beast rising out of the earth. It had 2 horns, like a lamb, and it spoke like a dragon. It exercises all the authority of the first beast in its presence, and makes the earth and its inhabitants worship the first beast, whose mortal wound was healed. It performs great signs, even making fire come down from heaven to earth in front of people. And by the signs that it is allowed to work in the presence of the beast, it deceives those who dwell on earth, telling them to make an image for the beast that was wounded by the sword and yet lived. And it was allowed to give breath to the image of the beast, so that the image of the beast might even speak, and might cause those who would not worship the image of the beast to be slain. The beast we just read about is the false prophet, and the first beast was the Antichrist. Ironically, the Antichrist isn't who we're focused on today. You see, it is the false prophet who is the one who's really going to push for the mark of the beast. And we'll read about that in a little bit. But we're briefly discussing how to recognize the false prophet. The false prophet will get a lot of people to worship the Antichrist. The false prophet will be convincing. Bringing down fire from heaven will be impressive, on account that I don't know anyone on earth today who can do that. It also appears that the false prophet may bring the Antichrist back to life, or at least an image of the beast. And if you won't worship the image of the beast, the false prophet will try to kill you. In Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 through 18, it says, "Also it causes all, both small and great, both rich and poor, both free and slave, to be marked on the right hand or the forehead, so that no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark, that is, the name of the beast. For it is the name of a man, and his number is 666. The false prophet is going to try to make everyone get the mark of the beast. Notice that the mark of the beast is in the right hand or forehead. It means it won't be a vaccine, because even if you count your arms as part of your hand, you can get vaccinated in your left arm, but you can't get vaccinated in your forehead. It's important to note that you can't buy or sell without the mark of the beast, and that's why people like Marjorie Taylor Greene have compared it to vaccine passports. But in defense of Joe Biden, who I have never voted for, while he is trying to force federal employees to be vaccinated, he isn't forcing the private sector to do that, though he is encouraging private businesses to mandate it. So he isn't being nearly as forceful on this issue as Mayor Bill de Blasio. Let's see what he had to say. He said, "So today, I announce a new approach, which we're calling the Key to NYC Pass. The key to New York City. When you hear those words, I want you to imagine the notion that because someone's vaccinated, they can do all the amazing things that are available in this city. This is a miraculous place literally full of wonders. And if you're vaccinated, all that's going to open up to you. You'll have the key. You can open the door. But if you're unvaccinated, unfortunately, you will not be able to participate in many things. That's the point we're trying to get across. It's time for people to see vaccination as literally necessary to living a good and full and healthy life. The key to NYC Pass will be a first-in-the-nation approach. It will require vaccination for workers and customers in indoor dining, in indoor fitness facilities, indoor entertainment facilities. To enforce that, he'll have Gandalf guard every business, and he'll say, "You shall not pass," to everyone without proof of vaccination. All kidding aside, if you live in New York City, you're basically going to be a second-class citizen there if you're not vaccinated. Now, picture this, except it's the false prophet and not Mayor Bill de Blasio, and it's the mark of the beast instead of proof of vaccination. And instead of being allowed to refuse, you are now going to be killed. Now, we will shift gears a little bit and talk about if we can ignorantly get the mark of the beast by reading Revelation chapter 14, verses 9 through 11. And another angel, a third, followed them, saying with a loud voice, "If anyone worships the beast and its image, and receives a mark on his forehead or on his hand, he also will drink the wine of God's wrath, poured full strength into the cup of his anger, and he will be tormented with fire and sulfur in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment goes up forever and ever, and they have no rest day or night, these worshippers of the beast and its image, and whoever receives the mark of its name." Based on this passage, I believe that an angel will warn us about the mark of the beast. But even if the angel is actually condemning those that got the mark of the beast rather than a warning, it should be noted that in order to get the mark of the beast, you must worship the Antichrist, worship his image, and must get a mark on your right hand or forehead. So it's not something you're going to accidentally go do. And if you receive the mark of the beast, that means you'll be facing God's wrath. And as if that wasn't bad enough, if you face God's wrath, it's fair to say you're going to hell because it says you'll be tormented forever. In Revelation chapter 14, verses 12 and 13, it says, "Here is a call for the endurance of the saints, those who keep the commandments of God and their faith in Jesus. I heard a voice from heaven saying, 'Write this, blessed are the dead who die in the Lord from now on.' Blessed indeed, says the Spirit. that they may rest from their labors, for their deeds follow them. These verses tell us that the mark of the beast will show up when the church is still here, and that it's before the rapture of when the wrath of God takes place. The church is to have endurance and not cave into getting the mark of the beast. I believe the mark of the beast will show up during the sixth seal before the rapture, though I do believe people can get saved after the rapture, which is why I believe it says, "Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord from now on."